Who was that coughing there in a microphone? Because I was just bowing and then I heard, wasn't me, was it you? No. Oh, bless you anyway, whoever it was. All right, everybody. Welcome to Dhammaloka's advanced meditation class. Are you ready for the advanced meditation class? No? Neither am I, so that's good. No, I just say that because if you came for the absolute newbie beginner's course, then that is in the room to the right out here. But most of you I've seen before, so you're all advanced enough to be here. The things I teach are not much different from the beginner's course anyway, because meditation is always about the same principles, whether you are a beginner or a long-time meditator. You always come back to the same ground principles. And so today I will talk about a few of those ground principles, basic ideas for meditation, which are very simple, very easy to understand, but which you can develop for a whole lifetime. And that's why the beginners and the advanced class are in a way the same, because what you teach the beginners is what you still teach later as well. There are some more advanced ideas as well, but for today I'll teach those kinds of ideas that apply to everybody. Now today is a very special advanced meditation class because I got some very advanced people here today. As my mother and father are over there. Yeah. And they can come to the advanced meditation class, although they have not meditated much before, because they were here traveling around with me through Western Australia for a few weeks. They came all the way from the Netherlands. That's why it's very special for me. That's all the other side of the world. So I hadn't seen them for 3 years, and before that also 4 or 5 years because of COVID. So we don't see each other very often. So when we see each other, we decided let's really connect, and do some things together, not just they're coming to the monastery and I spend all the time in my hut just meditating, door closed, window closed, and sign in front, nobody enter. It wasn't like that. We were actually traveling around together a little bit. I stayed in the monastery as well, but then also visited the nuns' monastery, and so forth, all sorts of things. I will not bore you with all the details. But it was interesting for me as a monk, because I got much less time to meditate, and I got a bit tired as well after a while. Not tired of my parents, but just tired of the activities. And yeah, they too, so it's all right. But you know what happened? Yesterday, we thought was the final day. So we said our goodbyes. And then they dropped me off here yesterday, Friday evening, and they drove to the airport. And with their rental car, they handed in the rental car at the company, was all clean and good, so the company was happy, they were happy, because you're always a little bit worried like that, right, when you're traveling around, and especially very far away, so all worried. And then they decided to just spend the night at the airport. I thought that wasn't the best idea, but couldn't really talk them out of it, so they wanted to do that. Last time they were here 8 years ago, they rented a hotel, but they didn't really sleep anyway, so they thought, we'll spend the night at the airport. My brother's here as well, by the way, but he's having a rest. And what happened? This morning, time for the flight home. So they went to the check-in desk with their tickets. And finally, after all that waiting around in the airport for more than 12 hours, or whatever it was, finally, you can't get any sleep, can you? I can't in the airport. All these noises going on, it's cold, it's bright lights. So finally time to go into the airplane. Handed in the ticket to the desk. What did the guy say? Looked at the ticket and said, Oh, it's for tomorrow. All of us had misplanned. I think it's partly because when you fly back to Europe, the flight is so long, but because you're traveling with the sun, you're still arriving on the same day. So you leave on Sunday, then you fly for a whole day, and then you still arrive on Sunday. So part of me at least thought, oh, then you leave on Saturday, and we were tired, and yeah, so things went wrong. Oh, they weren't very happy at first, of course. Yeah. And I'll bring this back to meditation in a moment, because there's two ways you can react when things go wrong. You either get angry and upset, and you start blaming others. It was you who misplanned things. It was you who misread the ticket. Or you can say, as my parents did after the initial upset, an extra holiday, an extra day of holiday today. Yeah, an extra day in Australia that they hadn't expected. And then it was so beautiful, because this morning I found out, after my parents found out, very early this morning, about 4 o'clock, they sent me an email about it, and I saw the email. And then this morning at breakfast, I told some of the people about what happened. People will bring me breakfast. Yeah, some of them are here. Yeah, there's Shamari there, by the way. My parents are behind you, and Ian and all the others. And they said, "Oh, we can pick them up from the airport." And Shamari said they can stay at my place. And Lehar said they can stay at my place. And Lynn here said, "Oh, they can stay at my place, and they can stay here." And then I had more places for my parents to stay than I had parents in the first place. And Sampak, who many of you know, was happy to pick them up this morning, and then tomorrow morning, very early, bring them back to the airport again. So it was very inspiring for me to see all that generosity that people give, not just to me as a monk, but also to my family as well. And that really was quite moving, actually. And really, yeah, you were there as well, and everybody was concerned. They don't even have not met the people, but still they were so willing to help. And then, because they had that extra day, I had lunch here today with the Thai community that usually offers the dana, the lunch for the monks. And then they heard about the story as well, because I told them again, of course. Yeah, it's kind of a nice story actually, because the way my parents reacted. And they said, "Oh, so good you're here. We'll help you, and we'll give you some food, and here, have some robes to offer to your monk, to your son, who is a monk." And then afterwards, some of the Thai people all came up to me and said, "Oh, it was meant to be that your parents had an extra day so they could do this offering to you." Yeah, because they said they got really emotional from seeing parents offering the robes to their child, sorry. And to me as well, I found that very, very, very beautiful as well. But even more beautiful than that, I found the way that my parents reacted. Because when we picked them up from the airport, they weren't all grumpy and upset. They were making all sorts of jokes in the back, yeah, like I just said, an extra day of holiday, and I said, I can't get rid of you even if I try. These sorts of things. And that kind of an attitude, to always react positively to whatever happens in life, yeah, to not automatically get upset. That sort of attitude is also very, very helpful in meditation as well. Because this is supposed to be a meditation class, not just a talk. I will bring it to the meditation in a moment. When you sit down to meditate, things won't go the way you think, the way you want, the way you plan. And I know many of you have been here before, and usually there is Ajahn Brahm sitting here teaching you, and then he goes all about being happy and meditation, always bliss and happiness. And I've heard all these talks in the monastery, bliss and happiness, and I know what he's talking about, but it's not always like that, is it? Yeah? Maybe For you, usually it's not like that. And it can almost be a bit depressing or maybe even annoying to always hear talks about bliss and happiness sometimes. But yeah, there is a lot of bliss and happiness in meditation, but it does not come when you want it, in a way. If you want things, then you create the suffering. Then you create a disparity between where you are and where you want to be. Yeah? If I want to be somewhere else, then you're never here in the present moment. And in meditation, we don't set any expectations. When our mind is restless, or our mind is tired, or our body aches, we are not happy, when things are not working in meditation the way you think they should, quote unquote, be working, then if you want it to be different, that's when you create the suffering, the real suffering. If you are just content with whatever happens, then you'll find happiness and peace. So when I teach retreats, I always say, well, not always, but usually say, if you are not content with whatever is happening in the present moment, then just be content to not be to be discontent. Yeah, be content to be discontent, and then you're content again. I'm so happy to be unhappy. So content that things don't go my way. Yeah. I make it a bit silly, but the idea is very deep. If you can just accept things as they are, and not to judge things as either right or wrong, then that is the path to more deeper stillness and peace within. I think you can intellectually probably understand that, or maybe you've experienced it already in your practice. When you are judging things as either right or wrong, then you can't find the peace that meditation can bring. And that reminds me of a little story. This is just like a fable, a make-up story, but it's a very good simile anyway. This is a simile of a farmer, and this farmer lived a long, long time ago. In the Middle Ages, this farmer lived. And this farmer, it was a cow farmer. And back in those days, you didn't have the big factories. You only had maybe 1 or 2 cows as a farmer. And that's what you lived from. You drank the milk from that cow. Now, this farmer's cow had run away. One day, the farmer found out when he walked into his garden. The cow was gone. And then the farmer went to look for the cow but couldn't find him. And then he went to the wise monk in the village. Or we can make it a wise nun as well, by the way. No gender biases here. Let's make it a wise nun. So there was a wise nun in the village. And the farmer went up to the nun and said, my cow has run away. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me. And then the nun said, sorry. I usually tell it as a monk, so. The monastic said, maybe not. Yeah, maybe the worst thing, maybe not. And the farmer didn't understand and went back home. The next day, he went looking for his cow again, all over the town and through the forest and the fields, and could not find his cow. But instead, he found a horse. Just a wild horse. It was not owned by anybody. He was just walking there in the forest. So he caught it. Yeah? He caught the horse and brought it back home. And a horse is much more expensive than a cow. Can do much more work. Yeah? You can ride the horse. It's much more useful. So the farmer was very, very happy. So happy. Now he had a horse instead of the cow. And so he went to the nun in the village and said, I found a horse. Wow, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. And then the nun said, Maybe, maybe not. The farmer didn't understand. So he went back home again. Next day, he decided to tame the horse. Because it was a wild horse. You couldn't ride it yet. You had to sit on the back first, like those cowboys do, Hee-haw, hee-haw. That's what he did. But he couldn't do it himself. He was too old. So he asked his son, "Son, can you tame this horse?" "Of course, Dad," the son said. So the son climbed on the back of the horse and sitting on the horse, trying to tame that wild horse. And what did the horse do? He threw his son off, and his son fell on the floor, on the ground, and broke his arm. "Oh no," the farmer thought. "My son always helps me in the fields and helps me with the cows and the horse. And now he's got a broken arm, he can't help me anymore." So, of course, he went to the nun, the wise nun, and said to the nun, "My son broke his arm. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me." And you know what the nun said. Maybe, maybe not. And this story can go on for a long time like this. You might think, what's a good thing about breaking an arm? There's nothing good can come out of that. Yeah, so you've got things in your life and you think nothing good can ever come out of that. Misjudging when you are leaving from the airport, getting a day early and spending the whole night at the airport, nothing good can come out of that. Is that true? Maybe we are judging too quickly. And so was the farmer, because the next day he and his son were back at the farm and the military came. And the military were looking to enroll all the young men into the army because there was a war going on in the country, with the neighboring country. And so they also got to this farmer's house, and all the young men had to become soldiers, and it's very dangerous, of course, soldiers die and stuff. But they looked at this son and said, he's got a broken arm. With a broken arm, you can't go into the army, so you can stay at home with your dad. And then, of course, the farmer, went to the nun and said, my son had a broken arm and couldn't get into the army. It's the only son that stayed home in the whole village. This is the best thing that ever happened to me. And then the nun said, maybe, maybe not. Yeah, don't judge, in other words. And this is the same when you sit down to meditate in a moment. And we sit down to meditate, and what do? Especially if we are maybe not so skilled yet. We sit down. And of course we don't go, the best thing ever, or the worst thing ever. But we do similar things in smaller ways. Yeah? You have pain in your body. So annoying. Why do I have this pain in my body? Everybody else must be relaxed. Everybody else must be peaceful. My mind is so unpeaceful. And when you finally get the peace, maybe you're like, this is so great. And then you ruin it as well. Because you are like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. And then the peace disappears also. So don't be like the foolish farmer. You are all very wise. So be like the wise nun who says, maybe this is good, maybe not. I don't judge things as good or bad. Yeah? I just let things be the way they are. And then you can really be in the present moment, because you're not chasing after things that you think are good, and you're not trying to get away from things that you think are bad. And you're just here. Is it good or bad to be here? I don't know. Yeah, one of the titles of Ajahn Brahm's books is Good, Bad, Who Knows? And that's the same idea. Don't judge things as good or bad here in the present moment. We just are. They're just here in this place, right here, right now. Especially when we meditate. And there's nothing we need to add to this moment, nothing we need to really forcefully take away from this moment. We just let it be and let it settle. And then, when we don't fight, we don't long for things, that's when the mind gets still. And earlier my lovely parents asked me, what's the name of this place? Because they wanted to write a thank you letter to the person who drove them from the airport here. And I said it's Dhammaloka. And I really never deeply thought about what Dhammaloka really means. But Dhamma is like the truth or the teachings of the Buddha. The nature, the way things are, that is Dhamma. And Loka means a world or a place. So the Dhammaloka, this center, is really the place of the truth in a way, in a deep sense. Yeah? The world of reality. But the real world of reality is this present moment, here right now. When we long for things, we create a future that is always unreal. It's not here. We have this fantasy of what will happen. Yeah, you have the fantasy that your plane will leave in 5 minutes, and instead it's 24 hours and 5 minutes. Or the past, you judge the past sometimes as well. Usually it's the future that gets in the way, mostly for most people, but the past as well. But those are not the places of truth, the past and the future. The place of truth is here and now. So those are some introductory ideas for meditation. A little bit of a short Dhamma talk, if you will. And I hope that gets you a little bit in the right mood of what meditation is all about. Yeah? I'll say it once more. It's not about going somewhere, grabbing after stuff, judging things, or getting away from things. No, instead it is about being right here, right now, and letting things happen naturally when you step away from controlling things. So with that introduction done, I'd like to invite you all to meditate with me for about 40 minutes or so. Does that sound like a good idea? Yeah. If it is too long for anybody, then feel free to silently walk out in the middle. I say that especially for my parents because I promised them that they could walk out if they wanted to. So, but you're also all allowed to do the same. Okay. Right, lovely. So to transition a little bit from that talking and laughter to the more quiet part of this afternoon, the meditation, I'd like to invite you to arrive in this present moment, this hall right here, right now. This is where we are. We're not at home or anywhere else. And I invite you to just listen to the sound of this bell, just to arrive in this present moment. I'll invite the bell 3 times. And let the sound of this bell bring you into the here and now. Okay, dear friends, dear family, welcome to this moment, to this lovely place called Dhammaloka, which is a physical place of peace. Or we can also think of it as the moment or the place of reality, which is the here and now. everything you've ever experienced and everything you will ever experience is always here and now. You can't experience the future. You can sort of re-experience the past, but then again it's always in the present moment. So if you want to know what it's like to live, what it's like to be a human being, then notice this present moment. What is the present moment? You might ask. It's just whatever is left when you stop obsessing about the past and future. You've got your plans for later today, your plans for tomorrow at work or travel or whatever. But that is not the time to think about right now. Right now we're here. We hear the sounds of the birds outside, sounds of the air conditioner, people around us. Is this good or bad? It's neither, really. It's just what is. This is what it's like. You don't have to be overly excited about it or despondent about it. All you need to do is just to accept with contentment that this is what you're experiencing now. Yeah, it's not perfect. Could be quieter, it could be better temperature, it could be a better teacher, it could be better chairs, whatever. But that's not what it's about in meditation. It's not about what could be, but about what is. And this is good enough. And although this is already good enough, there are ways that you might be able to make yourself more comfortable. And don't be stupid and foolhardy by not listening to your body and mind when they tell you that things need to be adjusted. So please take some time to get in touch with your body and adjust your posture as you think is best for you today. It's very important that you take care of your body in meditation. When the Buddha got enlightened, he first made a cushion out of leaves to sit on. Says in the texts. So he also made sure he was comfortable, at least comfortable enough. So please adjust your legs, your back, your neck, whatever you need to adjust to be more comfortable. You can keep your eyes closed if you want to. If it's more comfortable, you can also keep them somewhat open as well. Sometimes that helps you keep awake or just keep a bit more sense of presence when things are a bit tough, maybe. You could sit on a chair or against the wall. You can sit on the floor. You can stand even. It's all good. Be kind towards your body. Also knowing that the body will, by its very nature, never be completely at ease. So we're not looking for perfection in the body. Just some relaxation that is good enough. And as you focus on your body in the present moment, also keep an eye out on how you react to the feelings in your body and this present moment. Are you judging things like that farmer? This is so bad. The worst thing. This is so great. The best thing. If you are judging like that, that is the wrong path. But don't judge that either. That judging. It's also just part of this moment. So to move away from that judgment into a place of serenity and acceptance, contentment maybe even. when you are content with things as they are, you stop controlling the present moment, or let go of this illusion that you think you can control the present moment, because it's already here and now. You can't change it anymore. Whether it's sounds, feelings in the body, thoughts or emotions or what have you, when they come up in the present moment, and that's your meditation object for now. And then tell yourself, oh, this is what it's like to be alive here for now. If you are a skilled meditator, you can add some kindness, compassion even, to this experience of the present moment. If you feel sad or tired or restless, the path of meditation always starts with acceptance and kindness of these emotions. Can you be content that you're sad? Accept this as a part of life. Happy to be tired. Being kind to the restlessness. The Buddha's first noble truth is that of suffering. And as you're sitting here, you experience a certain kind of suffering. It might be subtle, it might be very coarse. But the way to get rid of suffering is not to push it away, grabbing after the happiness. No, instead the way is through making peace, being kind, being gentle to this suffering. May even help to put a little smile on your face. Just pulling up the corners of your mouth. Just smile to this experience. Maybe you're stuck somewhere in your meditation where you get stuck all the time, and oh yeah, just smile to it. Oh, here I am again. It's okay. It's not good, not bad, it's just the way it is. You may choose to pick a certain part of this experience of the here and now to focus on. Don't do so forcefully or because you're taught that that's what you should do. Just do that if that feels nice, and a sense of peace comes from that. You might focus on the sounds. If your body is relaxed, which mine is not really, but then you can focus on that. You can also focus on your breath. Or maybe even just the feeling of having nothing to do, and that this is just a time when you're allowed to be. It's the idea that you don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to be in any other way. You're already perfect. Or you can just sit here generally. Just awareness of this moment. Whatever you choose to pick as your meditation object, as we call it. See if you can stay with that happily and peacefully for the next 15 minutes or so while I be quiet. And you can all meditate for yourself as you see fit. Dear friends, family, I could sit here for another hour or so or more, but it's coming close to the end of this meditation session right now. I'm also happy with that. I'd like to, before you open your eyes, I'd like to invite you to just ask yourself, how do you feel now? Maybe your thoughts have drifted off from the present moment. Maybe you're thinking about things not here and now. That's fine. No judgments. Just bring your attention back to the here and now, asking what it's like to be here. Do you feel any different compared to the start of this meditation? Is there any positive qualities in your mind that were not there before? Maybe just a little bit of patience or kindness or a little bit of relaxation. Or maybe you're even more restless than before. That's also okay. Just finally ask yourself, how are you relating to this experience of the here and now? Are you thinking that it's good, or are you thinking that it's bad? Or are you just content and happy to be here, in the middle between good and bad, or beyond good and bad? It's a better way to put it. Either way, please thank yourself for this meditation, for the effort you've put in. Some of the sufferings you've no doubt experienced, whether minor or major. Boredom, tiredness, anything. You sat through it. So be grateful for your willingness to be here and to try this path, the not always easy path of meditation. Take from this meditation only the positive parts, and please let all the negativity just fade away as I ring this bell, and let the sound of this bell slowly take you out of the meditation and back into this hall and the external world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much for meditating with me. I always love that so much, that you're all here patiently waiting for me to talk again. Or maybe you were just happy to be here and you were not waiting for things to change. And you're just content here. That is the ultimate skill we're trying to develop. Yeah? Make peace, be kind, be gentle. That is what meditation is about. And if you do that, then it doesn't matter whether you're happy or sad, whether you're energetic or tired, because you have peace, yeah? And you have contentment. And from that peace and contentment, that's where eventually all the happiness will come from, naturally, without you having to force it. And that's where all the energy comes from as well. I told you before that I was a bit tired, yeah, from traveling around and also getting up early this morning, arranging things for my family. I told you all about that. So I was tired this meditation. So a few times I was nodding off a little bit. How did I react? I'm a monk, I should be alert. Nodding off in meditation is bad. Did I do that? No, of course not. Yeah, I've been well trained. So I was just, of course I'm tired. It's completely natural. Yeah, all these things I've been doing. So I'm just gonna, nod off a little bit. I didn't even think that. It was just my natural reaction. And so you nod off a little bit. Hopefully not that much that you'll be like this. But yeah, for a few moments nod off, and then your energy just starts coming back. Why? Because you're not interfering, you're not doing things. And when you stop doing things, you get energy back, because it's all this doing, this judging, this wanting. That's where we lose so much energy in the mind. But being here, not judging, doing nothing, really. That's where energy comes from. And so I don't judge things as bad, really, in that way. In my meditation, not half as much as I used to do anyway. So sleepiness for me is a very easy thing to not judge. And I hope you can have the same as well with your sleepiness, your restlessness, whatever it is. It's all part of life, and you're not expected to be perfect meditators, yeah? Don't expect too much from your meditation. If you do that, then you create the suffering, yeah? Can you relate to that? Have you expected too much from yourself, set high demands? Yeah, I'm a Buddhist for 40, 50 years or whatever. I should be better now, yeah. I've listened to so many of Ajahn Brahm's talks. I should be enlightened by now. Yeah, if you're like that, it doesn't work. Yeah, I am okay. I'm good enough. Yeah, I think to myself sometimes, today I can be the worst monk in the whole of Bodhinyana. You know what? The worst monk in the whole of the history of Buddhism. I'm going to be the worst meditator ever. And I really try to be the worst meditator. And you just don't have any judgments then. It's going to be bad. Whatever. It's all right. Somebody's got to be the worst meditator ever. Might as well be me. Might as well be you. And if you have that attitude, then naturally you are not the worst meditator. You're one of the best meditators. Because you're not expecting too much. And I'd like to leave you after. I'll do questions and answer after, but I'd like to leave you with a little story that really shaped my life. And it sounds really maybe not so extraordinary to you, but to me this was very powerful. I was once on a holiday in Scotland. I was hiking through the hills that they have there, and it's very, very nice, very beautiful. I was talking to somebody about that before earlier. That's why it came up. Bob, he might not be here anymore. He's from Scotland. Anyway, so as part of that trip, I ended up in Edinburgh on the way back, and I had some time to kill before my flight went back. Then I was still able to judge flight dates properly, not like yesterday. So I had some time to kill. So I went to the Modern Art Museum of Edinburgh. It was for free. I was a student. I didn't have any money, so that was a good thing to do. When I was standing outside of that art gallery, they had this art piece, and it was bright letters in like neon signs made out of light bulbs. And it said something, well, it was very profound to me at that time. It said, "There will be no miracles here." And I don't know exactly what that artist meant by that sign. I think it's supposed to be secret, or you're supposed to take your own message from it. But what I took from it is that I always have these expectations in life. And also that trip, I thought it was going to be super amazing and nice. And it was okay, but you know, you have these expectations that the next thing in life, that's going to be it. Again, I'm exaggerating, but it's like this mental attitude we sometimes have. Or I'm going on a meditation retreat. This is going to be the miracle. Or the next moment in my meditation, I can feel it. It's just coming. It's just coming. The jhana, it's just there. The miracle's about to happen. And then it's never going to happen. So if you just treat every experience as part of life, whether bad or good, then you don't judge things like that farmer as the worst or the best. You don't expect miracles. And then when a jhana happens or whatever happens, it's just the way things are. It's not a miracle, so there will be no miracles here. Ah, peace at last. Thank you for listening. That wasn't very enthusiastic. A little sadhu there, little sadhu there. This is Dhammaloka. This is the place of the Dhamma, the place of the Buddha's teachings. So if we say sadhu to those teachings, we do it with everything we got. So let's do it all together. Yeah? Not to me, not to Sunyo or his teachings, but to the Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yuppie, yuppie, you. Okay. Yeah, so usually we have some questions and answer afterwards. If you'd like to go and leave now, that's perfectly fine. Some people already left. I will not be looking. You're leaving already, are you? No, please do. Because sometimes these questions and answers have nothing to do with meditation, and it can be a bit distracting in a sense to have to listen to that. So is there anybody here who has any questions? Please raise your hand and somebody will bring the microphone to you. Nobody? I love that. I really do. Yeah. Oh, but there's always questions from online, of course. You can't avoid those. That's good. I love those as well. Hey, thank you very much. Oh, there's not too many. I say now, sometimes when I'm reading them out, more appear, and I just keep coming, they keep coming, they keep coming. But that's okay. Okay. This is a question all the way from Germany, close to my native country of the Netherlands. During meditation, I can calm down. Excellent. I can feel peace. Excellent. But in that peace, there is still sadness. Excellent. Please tell me what to do about it. I would like to find peace to heal my body and mind. Well, as I told you a little bit already, the way to start with any emotions in meditation, whether it's happiness or peace or sadness, is acceptance first. Always acceptance and kindness first. If you start fighting the sadness, it becomes only worse and worse. I think many of you have heard the story of the angry demon before. Has anybody not heard the story of the angry demon? Everybody has heard the story. And if you have not, then you have to come back another time. Because I will not tell the whole story now, but in short, there's an angry demon in the king's palace. And the more angry that the people got with that demon, the bigger it grew. Yeah? And the angry eating demon, it was actually called. And sadness is like an angry eating demon. If you say, go away sadness, I don't want you in my mind. Yeah? You can see, then you're even creating discontent with sadness. So you're sad to be sad. Then you become even more sad. Instead, oh, I'm sad. You can react like this. Oh, I'm sad now. That's okay. Part of being a human being. There must be some reasons for it. And you have compassion to your sadness. You open up your heart to that experience of what it's like to be that way. Yeah? Everybody here has been sad before, I'm sure. If not, then I don't know. You must be very special, or not paying attention to life, probably more like. So you can have so much compassion to that. Oh, there's suffering here, and you maybe recognize some of that suffering. That's why you're sad, and develop more kindness and more compassion to that sadness, and not to force it away, not to. I keep coming back to the same ideas, but not to judge it as right or wrong, but just accept it as it is. It's really like that, and then you find the peace, and it heals by itself. You don't need to change anything. What also helps a lot with sadness is keeping your precepts as well. As a Buddhist, we have certain precepts that we keep: to not lie, not steal, and you don't have to be perfect in it, but do the best you can of those precepts and keep them as best you can. That gives a sense of happiness. You know that you're a good person, and you know that you're trying your best, you're caring for people, you're being generous to others. That creates a sense of happiness that sometimes people lack in their life. They live their lives a lot for themselves, and they try and deceive others in certain ways, and that creates this muddiness in the mind that can create a lot of sadness and depression. So that's two ways. One practical way is to keep the precepts, and in meditation is to embrace and have compassion for yourself. Hello, Venerable, is the next question. The process to accept whatever our condition at the present is, I find it very difficult, especially when meditating and we still have this aversion with the condition we now have. Any guidance? I have to say something original now, because I can say, oh no, don't judge it as good or bad, but you've heard that already, so apparently that instruction didn't help, otherwise you wouldn't ask the question. So maybe try this. So when I was a little boy, my parents often used to take me to these theme parks. Well, maybe not very often, but occasionally, go to this theme park. And sometimes you had these rides in the theme park where you sit down and you get a car to sit in as a little kid. It's like a little small car, and you get this steering wheel. And then the car starts driving, and you can, there's a corner to the right coming up. And you drive through the forest, and you drive up the hills. There's a corner to the left. You have to steer to the left, and and then you go all around on the track. On the track. Huh? As a kid, you think you're in control of the car. You're imagining, going right, I'm going left. You're all imagining. But if you just let go of the steering wheel, or do whatever with the steering wheel, the car still keeps going, the exact same loop. Yeah? And in life, you can relate to it like that. You think you have much more control than you actually have. Life is just like being on a track, in like a cart, on a fun fair or whatever it is. And you're just going through it. Yeah? And emotions come, conditions come, the present presents itself to you. It's already here. You can't control it anymore, right? You might try and steer away from the present moment, but if you sit in one of those cars and you steer steeply to the left or very steeply to the right, it doesn't matter. The car still stays in the exact same place, right? Doesn't it? And that's with the mind as well, right? Do you recognize that? You try and steer it away from that sadness. You try and steer it away from the difficulty. Does it ever work like that? Yanking the steering wheel of your mind? No, it doesn't. Yeah? Usually it doesn't anyway. So what you then do is realize, I'm here right now. This is my track in life. This is the path that I need to take. And I can accept it. And at least then you don't have that aversion to the moment anymore. Because you know this is my route to the future. Yeah? And now the thing with life and meditation is it's not just going round and round on the same loop like in a theme park. It might feel that way sometimes, yeah. Sit down, the exact same meditation as last time, exact same meditation. No, in meditation you slowly learn, you slowly grow through talks like this, through sitting together, through meditating, you learn and you grow and you become more skilled, and your mind develops and becomes more beautiful and more beautiful. So eventually that track doesn't go in circles, but it goes more and more through beautiful scenery. And sometimes it's just bad scenery, yeah? And don't have aversion to that and just know that this is part of your path. That's one way to think about it. There's many other ways to think about it, but I'll keep it, I'll stick to that for now. Hopefully that helps you, and maybe that helps some of you here as well. Thank you for those questions. They're very applicable to today's instructions, actually, so that is always nice. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and I wish you very pleasant life on your own little track. All right. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay respects to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha for those of you who would like to join in.